Welcome back to Brohood Productions, the Hall of Justice podcast. I am your co-host, Alma, the All-Star Superman, and this is,
Your boy JP the Hope.
there we go. Yeah. Guys, it's so good to be back. We are going to do our very best to do a weekly episode because those are fun. And we'll probably have generic segments and maybe some new segments. Um, some cool things. We have Captain America, Brave New World next month, and we are excited. We're continuing with the tradition to have new shirts for the film. This
We're
week,
going Thursday night.
Thursday night, February 13th. February 13th. This week we have a new Marvel Studios animated project, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. So more on that later. Anything you want to share, bro, about life? Any words of wisdom before we get into the episode for the week?
Let's get crack-a-lackin'.
Crack-a-lackin'. He's speaking my crack-a-lackin' language.
Yes, sir.
5 points to the person who puts that in the comments. Um, so we have this week in comics or our comic books for the week. We have this just in the Weekly Planet, and JP and I are going to do a segment called Quick Takes, and we only have one quick take today, so we'll see how well we do. So this week, officially, we will be looking into the Superman Lex Luthor special. Very important. If you haven't been up to date, Lex Luthor lost his memory. And there is something in Lex Luthor's memory that we're probably going to need in this new Superman arc. So it's an important issue to read. Um, we are still delayed. My comic book shop unfortunately has not been able to get Ultimate Spider-Man 13. JP knows how I feel about this. I have not been able to read it. So hopefully that comes this week as well. And then this isn't a paid promotion or anything, but there is an app called Comic Geeks. I really like it. It's really cool. If you sign in, you're not only able to see stuff that will be coming out, so it's like a kind of a digital thing. You're also, it's like a digital place to show which comics you own. And I think that's pretty neat. So it keeps you up to date, keeps your orders up to date, and it shows what you have in your collection. So that is comics for the week. Transitioning over now to this just in, the Weekly Planet news. Probably not big news for JP-ish, but it's big news for me. Big news for the action figure community. Finally, we have a Max Fleischer Superman. Pre-orders are available on January 29th. Now, two
Three
big
days.
things this week. We have a new Superman TV spot. If you haven't seen it, go look for it. It's pretty awesome, in my opinion. Uh, bro, what did you think?
You know, it brought me a lot of memories of Christopher Reeve flying through just like around Earth and space. And I just think they made a really good decision about who's gonna play Superman. I mean, I am like I don't know. It's like I wanted to be here already. You know, it's just Superman's one of those characters. You're just like I think James Gunn can do it right, where everyone appreciates because we got all those haters. Yes, I know everyone loves Batman. Everyone loves Batman because he doesn't have powers, and Superman's like godlike. It's like it's a broken tape recorder. It's like, but Alma and I have always loved there's a human nature and there's like a real true character in Superman. So I think Mr. Cornswet, what was his last name?
Barn Sweat.
Cornswet, yeah. I think he's gonna light up the show.
I love your take. For the news to be this week, it's been fun. I've watched that TV spot probably more than 20 times by now. It fills me with joy. Um, And a lot of people have been talking about it, about how Superman, they don't like it. Some people don't like it, and most of these are the haters, right? The way he's been flying and how it's a downgrade from Zack Snyder's vision of how he had Superman fly. I will say,
Whatever, whatever, whatever.
Superman flight is one of the most fantastic things in Superman history. That flight scene in Man of Steel, I it's the same emotion for me. I don't understand. I personally, I can see the arguments, right? Because I want to be respectful. But you tell me that, and because you know me probably one of the best people to know how I feel. I would not be lying by saying the same emotion that I felt seeing David Corn Sweat do that loop-de-loop is the same emotion I felt when I saw Superman fly in Man of Steel.
Yeah, you're not lying.
Same
Yeah,
emotion. So
same
I think it's
emotion.
just great. It's cool, you know? But what do you think? You know, because the first time we ever saw a man fly was Superman 1978. That was great. You can tell now, right? Because we did that whole thing in San Francisco where it was sort of the same technology, minus the acrobatic acting part of it. Um, and then everything else is just a
Old
jump.
memory you pulled out from somewhere.
But
But you're right, you're right. Um, People saying it's a downgrade. It's just a TV spot. I mean, we'll see the real thing. Um, I don't think there's anything different, really. I mean, like, yeah, whatever, whatever.
yeah, I mean, and I can't remember, you know, post Superman 1978, because most of them the technology wasn't good when they flew, right? Most of the acting was them landing and talking to the person. And then um you have Superman Returns, which is very much a lot of CGI, right? You know, the biggest moments that he's actually flying is when he saves everybody with the airplane, you know, when he's going around the world saving people. Um, you know, and it's like it's flying. I don't know how well, I mean, we're not filmmakers, so I don't know how the cinematography works. But wouldn't it be cool to be up and close into that action and like showing your perspective of what that would feel like?
Yeah, definitely.
It's
I
Superman flying. Come on.
He is.
It's we until we develop Martian Manhunter telepathic abilities are never going to be able to really experience what that's like.
Yeah,
So
sure.
we're all we're gonna get is CGI every time.
Yes, sir.
So I think we're both of the perspective that we just enjoyed it. I don't believe it's a downgrade. For me, it's the same emotion, you know, different different perspective is all.
Yeah, yeah.
Different perspective. Hopefully no one got upset, but that's our thoughts on that. Another event that has happened on the Weekly Planet for the Hall of Justice podcast. Doctor Strange apparently is not in Avengers Doomsday.
That's weird.
That's the rumor or the interview that was shown was that Benedict Cumberbatch probably gave away a spoiler, but when things were happening with Kang the Conqueror, he was like a key player in the movie. But when the Russo brothers came back and rewrote everything for Avengers Doomsday, apparently Doctor Strange is not in Avengers Doomsday. So I wanted to ask you, bro, how you feel about that here on our Weekly Planet.
Well, I think it's weird, number one. I think Doctor Strange not being critical, I mean that's I mean it's critical in the story is weird because when the Russo brothers were directing Infinity War and Endgame, uh Doctor Strange was very much in there. I mean, he was telling Tony like there was only one possible scenario that we were going to come out on top. And I feel like he fought Thanos, and there's just a lot of scenes, you know, around him. That he's a central role, I think. So it's weird. I mean, Maybe they're just doing a publicity stunt and like getting people's attention and stuff. But I would number one, I think it's weird, and I would feel pretty bad for Doctor Strange and Benedict Cumberbatch not being in the movie. I mean, they got to be in the movie. I mean, why? I mean, the only people you're not including is Tony Stark, but Robert Downey Jr. is Doctor Doom. So yeah, it's weird. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not sure how confirmed it is, but it sounds pretty confirmed. Marvel always does this to me. Anytime I'm excited to see Doctor Strange, they pull him out of the movie. It's like, this is Doctor Strange. Did you forget how good the first Doctor Strange was?
yeah. Alma. It's funny thing, funny story. Alma got very mad that what movie was it that it was only the end credit scene that you saw Doctor Strange. What was that one? Um,
Ragnarok, he shows up in the end credit scene.
yeah, like Alma was just like, "This is the only Doctor Strange I'm getting right now." Just an end credit scene. And he was so mad.
Because in anything else, when they tease him, like in WandaVision, he doesn't show up.
So maybe this time he really does show up.
In Deadpool and Wolverine, he doesn't show up. You know, the last thing I saw was a major slap of a Photoshop eye and him screaming in the streets, and then Clea showing up and saying, "You did something, let's go fix it."
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Sorcerer Supreme, which is
yeah.
now Wong in the MCU, and which is now Doctor Doom in the main storyline of Marvel Comics. The- Did people forget the animated cartoon from like the 2000s? That cartoon movie? Doctor Strange is a cool character, guy.
Yes, sir.
So I don't even have to talk, and you guys can tell how I feel about him possibly not being in Avengers Doomsday. My all-time favorite villain in Marvel Comics, and one of my favorite Marvel heroes, not in the movie.
All we know is that Alma will be super, super mad.
Yes, yes, I will. I will. Well, that's the news we wanted to review for the week. Now let's get into our sort of newish segment, quick takes. We only have one for today, and I'm not sure how much of a debate this will be because it really depends if how JP feels. Um, but I have one question because this has been brought up to me this week in the circles that I'm in, and I want to know the truth. Okay. So people have been telling me that Avengers Infinity War is a much better movie than Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, okay, here's the thing. I think a lot of people are saying that because of how it ended. Like Thanos won, evil won. And the way that that movie transpires, typically Avengers are ready, like the the what do you call them? The stakes are high. They seem like the underdog. Um, there's a downfall, but then there's a getting back up rocky moment. This movie we didn't see that. It was happening all too fast. They weren't prepared, and they thought they were gonna have him. They didn't, and he snapped his fingers. Bam, poof.
You should have gone
Um,
for the head.
honestly, we don't see movies that are 4 hours long anymore, or even 4 hours and a half. Looking back, they could have made this, and they could have made Infinity War 3 hours. They could have made Endgame 3 hours. I mean, what is the actual runtime? Let's look that up real quick. Um, Infinity. Yep.
Infinity War is 2 hours and a half.
And Endgame is 3 hours and one. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so they could have done 3 hours Infinity War and the same amount of time, 3 hours in Endgame, but we could have had an intermission after the first part. Really, that should be watched as one movie. So I can see people's point. I mean, in your circles, what are they saying that makes it a better movie? Let's talk about that.
Apparently the story is better. Apparently there are less holes.
Mm.
Um, but the argument really comes down to that it's a better story.
Well, everybody can say, well, here's the thing. Remember, the original story
Oh,
in the
and that, they ruined Thor and they ruined Hulk, so a lot of characters aren't who they're supposed to be in Avengers Endgame.
yeah, I mean, look, let's compare it to the comic, the actual comic story. Thanos wanted to get dirty with the what's her name, the
The death.
Lady Death, and he wanted to prove his love to her by killing half the universe. Like that's what he wanted, and so you know the Russos, they changed it up. They brought a modern stupid opinion that there's too many people or whatever. That's wrong. And so he was like, the way to solve it is just why couldn't he make it? Everybody talk about holes. There's holes in that movie too. Thanos could have increased the supply by 3 or 4 times. He had the power to do that. So I mean, I see their arguments, but honestly, I just see that as one movie. Infinity War and Endgame is one movie.
So you
That's
don't
all.
think one is
That's my.
better than the other?
No, I think they're the same. Now, here's the thing: the way the movie. Okay, so I have a when for me when I'm watching a movie. Okay, there's a couple things that I'm like looking for. We kind of do a cinema score here on Broad Productions. Thing is, like for me, I'm like, okay, how was the ride? You know, and how was the whatever everybody understands that. Then at the end of the ride, how do you feel? That is the only difference between those two movies. It's like at the end of when you watch Infinity War for the first time, you're like, they're not gonna make it. They're not gonna make it. And at the end, just like he does his thing, he leaves and he goes down and he watches the sunset. Like he says that he did his job because no one else would. Whatever. The way that movie made you feel at the end, it was like, like you were stabbed. Now I've never been stabbed before, but like that's just how it felt. Um, and then the way that Endgame makes you feel at the end of the movie, it's like that. Well, I like the American style hope. It's like everything against their odds. It's I'm not gonna get political, but someone said recently that uh in America we do what's impossible. Guess what? That's what they did in Endgame. Happy ending. Good feeling at the end. I don't see one is better than the other, honestly. Be if we're talking about which, I'll tell you right now, I like Endgame better. Why? One of the primary reasons why, but let me back up. I don't like Infinity War compared to Endgame for a couple of reasons, but one reason is the way they made Hulk. Uh, the Russo brothers said that he was just tired of the team making him like the mascot and going out there and going out there for them because it's like the last resort. It's like, oh, like Hulk will just take care of them, you know. I did not like the way they portrayed Hulk. Then now I have to think harder, but right at the top of my head, I'm like, that's the number one reason why I don't like Infinity War compared to Endgame. It's like you did Hulk so bad.
And he's supposed to be stronger in that fight versus Thanos.
Uh huh. I mean, there's a lot of critical things I could say. Um, and like I said, I see everyone's point about the story, whatever. But really, it's just one movie for me.
What did you rate each one?
It's yeah, let me show you. Well, so Endgame, I gave it 10, and Infinity War, I gave it 10. They were both great movies.
Equal for you. Nice.
They're equal, but there are things that I dislike and like more. But
And
it's not like one is better than the other. My opinion. I'm
for,
entitled to my own
for the
opinion.
record,
Nobody has to agree with my opinion.
for the record, who is your favorite version of the Hulk? For the record,
I love Thor Ragnarok Hulk.
in the MCU, yes, but who is your favorite Hulk?
Oh, World War Hulk. Planet Hulk to World War Hulk when he like they didn't do the story quite right in Thor Ragnarok because it was mainly focused on Asgard and their end of day. So anyhow, people have to watch the movie Planet Hulk animated version or even read the comic. But I like the because I don't even like I don't like Professor Hulk. I don't like no, what's his name? I'm getting this wrong. What's the white hair one where he's like, dang it, forgot. But from Planet Hulk to World War Hulk, that's the best savage version of the Hulk. That's my favorite Hulk. I didn't like it when he was gray. I mean, the story of him becoming Hulk and going through all that, it's good, but I don't like it. I like mainly when Hulk was part of the Avengers. Um, there's a great storyline. Old Man Logan.
Maestro,
That's
Maestro, Maestro.
Maestro. I don't even like Maestro Hulk. Um, but yeah, those are my thoughts.
So, my quick take is while I love Avengers Infinity War, I love Avengers Endgame just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. And I have reasons for that. You know, when I saw Infinity War, I gave it a 9. It's very, very hard for me to give out 9s and 10s, just so everybody knows. So if you get a 6 through an 8, you did a good job for the most part.
We were entertained when Alma says 6, 7, or 8. You were entertained. When he gives you a 9, it's like golden status.
Yes. And so that reminded me so much of so many comic books, reminded me of the animated film Ultimate Avengers 2 with Black Panther. Um, and I was distraught when all of it came down to what it came down to. And I was emotional, elated, happy, stoked. Every single TV spot I watched, everything about Endgame I watched except for the what's it called? The spoilers. This guy right here even tried to send me a spoiler when it came out, but
Uh,
it's an important movie. It's an important film. Of course, it's one of my
yeah, but the spoiler was wrong.
favorites. It
And
was
then you look at me and you're so mad.
you were still sending me stuff. No spoilers, I told you. You can send me TV spots and trailers, but you
Oh
can't.
yeah, then I showed you the ending of Endgame.
Yeah. But they're both fantastic films. I love the story in Infinity War, but for me, I think Endgame pulled it off. That's my quick take. It's my quick take.
Well, that's it, folks. Hope you like this. I know this is going to create controversy. Put in the comments which one you like more. I don't give a crap.
5 points to whoever says Infinity War, and 5 points to whoever says Endgame. Well, it's been fun. This hopefully this weekly thing can become a weekly thing. Hopefully you enjoy it. Remember when we reach 250 subscribers, we're going to do another giveaway. You'll be seeing hopefully some more stuff.
And then at 500, and then at 1,000, and then at 10,000, then 100,000. And the prizes are just going to get better and better, folks.
So that's what we got for you this week. We'll talk to you later.
Road out.